When it comes to blogs at Acumen, we write a specific way and we research specific things to make sure that we can both get you more visibility and generate more leads that turn to sales by using this writing. And so in this video, I'm going to walk through showing how we do it, the components of the blogs in general, just to give you a good clarity on what it is we're doing, why we're focusing on it, and then give you 3 examples of blog posts where one we consider to be really good, another it's good enough, like it does its job, it does well, and then one that's just not ideal. It is usable, but it's not ideal. And so we use that for our own internal quality measures, but it gives you a clearer picture into the content and the type of topics that need to be included to generate these leads online and to support the site overall and getting more visibility and more sales. So I'm going to zoom in on this graphic here that talks through how we do these blogs at Acumen. So if you scroll to the top here, how does Acumen Studio research and write blogs? This is how we define a blog. They're SEO and sales optimized articles, and they solve a problem, they answer a question. And the things that they're answering or talking about are micro topics related to the products and services. So you'll see how this makes sense later on here, but what we ultimately don't do is recreate the product page, recreate the service page. If you're a commercial printer, for example, and you sell brochures, you don't want to write a blog post on brochures only because you have a page that does that. You want to write on an angle, a topic, something very granular about the brochures that become the topic. And then that supports the overall theme, which we'll see here. So why do we do it this way? So it's to educate and convert. So in this case, the topic and the content, it's further down in the funnel. It's not total awareness. Someone's not looking for a company in general, looking for a specific service. They're asking a question, trying to solve a problem. So they've gone beyond knowing that they need the service. They're in the middle of considering options and finding what options exist for solutions. And so we know they're middle there. You're trying to sell them at that point. You're telling them you have this solution. So this gets them to the sales part. So we educate and sell at the same time, but we're doing it without being too detailed, really boring, or too salesy, which is just too pushy, right? So the other part is SEO. So the SEO potential comes from the research on these specific topics. So if it's a more granular topic on a service and product, this will get you found more for 2 things. So we say it, one, it says these micro topics support the main site, and the micro topic itself, which is the blog post, gets ranked. So your blog post gets found, shows up in the search engines, you get traffic from it. And because that blog post is contextually relevant to the service and product page, links back to it, the search engines see that and make the larger page, which is your product or service page, more authoritative as well. So when someone is solely searching for the service or the product, that larger main website page will show up more. You will get higher rankings for it. But at the same time, the blog post gets visibility, gets higher rankings, and also contributes to the sale. So all of these things happen with a blog post. So we just give some quick examples here. You know, what do good topics look like? What are these micro topics I'm talking about? The top 3 feather flag sizes. So we're not writing about feather flags, for example. We're writing about the sizes, and not just the sizes, the top 3 sizes, to imply someone's looking for an answer, right? Someone's like, what size should I get? I don't even know. What size should I get? What are the most popular sizes people are getting? This will get you ranked for people looking for that. And then linking back to your feather flag page will get that ranking more as well. So same thing, same idea. Should I use vinyl or mesh for an outdoor sign? It's not an outdoor sign. It's not vinyl outdoor sign. It's not mesh outdoor sign. It's all of that. Should I use it? Which one? Vinyl or mesh outdoor sign? It's all those ideas in a single micro topic. How to wrap a Sprinter van with custom graphics. So here we're talking about custom graphics. We could talk about it's vehicle wraps, it's fleet wraps, it's car graphics, it's van graphics, specifically Sprinter van graphics. So if you're doing this, that's a popular thing in commercial. commercial transportation, right? So sprinter bands, how much do trifold brochures cost? All these are really good topics for the reasons I'm describing here. They are micro to a larger idea. So trifold brochures in this case, how much do they cost? Sprinter van custom graphics, a how-to, vinyl or mesh, outdoor signs. That's what it's all related to. So more detail. So now let's talk about the components of a blog post. When we're doing this, the things that we share, you'll see some of it and others you don't. But the biggest components to all of this are the title tag, meta description, the heading that's on the page, and the page copy, plus the call to action. What do you want them to do next? Let's look at each of them. The title tag. This is behind the scenes. This is code. You do not see this on the front of your website. The title tag is meant for search engines to explain what the page is about. Search engines crawl it, but then they also present this title tag in the search engine results. So when someone does search for example, the top 3 feather flag sizes, that title tag, if the title tag was top 3 feather flag sizes, that is what will show up in the search engines. But it does not show up on your site unless you put it there, which is a different place, which is that page heading. So the title tag is a significant SEO ranking factor that needs to include the keyword you're trying to rank for, but it is done in the code. The meta description, again, is not on your website on the front end. No one sees this when they come to your website. But the search engines see it. The search engines use it when they share the results of a search online, and this is what shows up, the title tag and the meta description. So when you've gone onto Google and you've searched something, you see a headline that's linked and you see a block of text beneath it. The headline is that top part is the title tag that you're seeing that's linked, and the block of text beneath it is the meta description. So again, it will affect rankings due to how many people click through, so it has to be compelling. You want it to make sense to describe the page, to ask people to move forward and to do something there. But it does not show up on your website. It is in the code. It is behind the scenes. But we write these. We optimize these and we write those. So the page heading. So this is actually an H1 heading tag. The H1 is a code. So all things on a website are styled, formatted. H1 is a formatting element. But in this case, we're just going to call it page heading or page headline. When you go into WordPress and write in the title, it's not necessarily title tag, but it is the title in the page of what the page shows up on the front end. So all these words get crazy and mixed up. But all we're saying is this headline at the top of the page is what shows up to people. And in this case, it's again a significant ranking factor because it's going to be that H1 tag, which the search engines are looking for. So it should also include the keyword, and it needs to make sense. We get it. People can go overboard with this where they make it sound weird because they're trying to force the keyword in. Good copywriters don't make it sound weird, but it should be there. The page copy, very significant. In this, you're going to position the question or problem that your micro topic is solving. And so again, it's both educational and sales focused. You want to include keywords. You want to make sure that it's easy to read. You want to make sure that you have skimmable elements such as bold headlines, bullet points, images. All of those things allow someone to open it up, read it, quickly understand what it is you're telling them, and to quickly get the answer they need. Some people want to read every word on the page. Most do not. All studies show most people do not read everything on a page. They want to be able to quickly glance over it. Number one, to make sure it's what they want. Number two, quickly get from it what they need and move on. They do not want to read the whole thing. That's where people get stuck. They think all this detail has to exist. It does, but it doesn't. There's a very small fraction of people that will read through it. But it does for completeness, and that's why having skimmable elements such as bullet points, headlines, images, if you have video, drop it in. All of that helps the experience of a user who wants to get what they need quickly. And that will help you rank better, get more visibility, more sales. Now, the call to action, extremely important. Now we tell them what to do. In almost every case, we tell someone who has a blog to put a form at the end of the blog. make sure you ask them to do something. If you have a blog about feather flags, top 3 feather flag sizes, give them a form that allows them to ask for a quote on feather flags. That only makes sense. It's what you're wanting them to do ultimately anyway. Give it as an option. Make it there. There could be a number of other things, but we recommend having that blog. And in this case, I'm saying if you're using flags, give them a place to do a quote. But it is the main conversion point on this page. If someone searches this out, finds this page in the search engines, clicks through, understands what the answer is, you want them to talk to you next, right? Submit their information, call you, something. You want to engage with them. So, and we say click the call phone number because people will call often. They just want to get a quote over the phone. Give it to me fast and quick, so they'll call you. So at the end, have any questions? Talk more about it, but I'm going to move over to the examples of blog posts. So in this case, we'll use one single topic, the top 3 B2B marketing tips. So what we're trying to rank for are B2B marketing tips. In this case, the top 3, we've got the 3 B2B marketing tips here. So this what we're saying is a really good blog example. Has it in there. We're talking about top 3 B2B marketing tips here. This would be your H1 and your headline on the page. We have an image here that has words, but obviously they're not words. They're a part of an image, but we have the image on the page. And then we have a lot of things happening here. We've got an intro copy that frames up what this is about. You've likely tried marketing, every marketing play to get more out of your marketing, and it's not really working. Well, here are the tips that are going to help you do that. So then we headline it. The 3 B2B marketing tips. We give them an intro here quickly to what it is. These 3 things. These are the 3 tips we're going to talk through. And then each of those tips are expanded under their own headline. So you can see, number 1, use LinkedIn to prioritize customer targets. It's right here. We expand on it. We talk about it in more depth. The number 2 point was email specific tips to your customers. Tell them things, give them answers. We go into that more detail. Blog about what customers are searching for. This comes from search engine research and what we're talking about right now, but it gives more detail on that as well. And so then we basically have an in closing statement where we lead into the call to action and we say, we know there's a lot that goes into this, but you can definitely make it happen. But if you need help, that's what we're here for. Talk to us. So then we have a headline that frames up the call to action, which is the form. And we're saying, if you want to talk to us more about your B2B marketing strategy or have other questions, call us here. This is a click to call link, or submit this form below and they get submitted, right? So really good blog post. It frames it up, problem solution. The solution is outlined. The solution is then taken outlines and expanded upon. It's very robust. A lot of blog posts, though, it's hard to go into this detail if you're someone who doesn't know the industry, doesn't know the product, doesn't know the customer. It's hard to get extreme detail in those cases. So that's a really good blog post. But if you don't have the ability to know the industry extremely well, the product extremely well, the company extremely well, if you don't, you still are able to put together a good blog post that works very well as well. So in this case, it's very similar, but you can see that we have we're framing it up in a little bit shorter way here. We're using the top 3 again, but in this case, we don't outline it with the 3 and we don't expand on it in as much detail. So in this case, we're saying use LinkedIn to do this, email tips to your customers, create blog topics from keyword research. And we have a copy beneath it that goes into it, but it's just not as detailed as the other copy. We do have this closing statement again, and we do have the call to action at the bottom just the same. But if I flip back over to the other one, just to give it a quick comparison, you can see we go into much more depth on each of those 3 topics in this really good blog example than we do in this good blog example. But this is usable. If you have someone create this for you, it's going to do well. It's going to work well. Third is one that it's usable, but we don't really recommend this specifically. Again, same idea, where this we're giving a blurb just about what B2B marketing is. Okay, a lot of copywriters default to that. B2B marketing is the marketing of products. We talk through what it actually is. And then with that being said, here, let us give you these 3 tips. And the 3 tips are literally just the bullets in this case. So we are giving them 3 tips. Do these things, but we're not expanding on how, why, nothing beyond that. So we're just saying, hey, simply doing these 3 things are going to lead to more sales. So what should you actually do about it? So in this case, we're kind of under detailing, and we're also overselling in this case. What should you do next? We're saying need help with it, have run out of ideas, like why would you need to do this? And then we're saying that's what we're here for, we can help you. So we're kind of under detailing and overselling in this, and that's why we call it's usable, but it's not ideal. This is where you know very, very little, but you want to get something up. This is better than nothing. I will tell you that. Some people will disagree, but I can tell you that it's a fact that you will get more visibility and you will get more leads, because by putting this content out in this way, it rises all boats. In this case, all pages, because this is contextually relevant to B2B marketing in Acumen's case. But for your industry, it's going to be relevant to your primary products and services. So it will help. As much as some people hate the shortness and the abbreviated version of what this looks like, it still helps. I promise you that. I promise you that. So with these 3 examples in play, I hope that brings clarity to what blog posts really are and how we sell, or how we use them to sell, how we use them to get you visibility. But this is how we write. So expect this style, expect this type of content to come from us, because that's what we're going to be sharing with you. We want to make sure that you understand what it will look like, so that we can set the expectations right moving forward and craft some quality content together. So thanks so much.